Hello there, lovely people, it's Alex from Nintendo Life here, and today we're going to be looking at a pair of headphones, more specifically, the LucidSound LS20s. Now, yeah, you're probably thinking to yourself, Alex, why on earth on a channel called Nintendo Life are you looking at a pair of sodding headphones? Well, because it has a headphone socket, and this is actually one of the first headsets that's actively targeted towards people who own a Nintendo Switch. It's all on their advertising and stuff like that. Not on the box I received, but I think I had an older one, but yeah, so that's why. So, first of all, what is it about this headset that makes it more than just a headset? Because if it was just a headset, why would I dedicate an entire video to it? Well, because these are really rather nicely made, but there's more important stuff than that. These headphones are actually powered. They have a battery and everything inside them, but they are not Bluetooth at all. These are only wired, and you may be thinking, well, why on earth have you got that? Well, there's some sort of techno-gadgetry gizmology going on inside that allows you to get a better sounding sound from your system, supposedly, and it even works with the Switch. But before we get on to my opinions, let's find out what comes with this thing. Well, you get the set of headphones as you'd expect because, well, you bought the headphones. You also get a nice little 3.5 to 3.5mm cable, if I can stop it from going everywhere, that is just designed to connect it to the thing you want to listen to, because again, these are not Bluetooth, so you're going to need this. It's a decent enough length, but you can use any one you like. It's a nice high quality one. Lovely. You have also got a microphone. Now this is a really nifty little microphone as well. It sort of slots into the side, if I can show you here. There's a dedicated little slot there, and it only goes in one way. I've got a horrible feeling I've got it the wrong way round. I think I have, so let's put it in correctly. And it just slots in like that there, and this thing then just, like you'd expect, it goes up your nose. No, it's designed to go down here. The headphones are not set to my head size, so they might look a little bit ridiculous, and that just goes down there. And it's actually a really nice clear microphone, and it's quite diddy, and it's, you know, fully posable, so you can have it over there if you want. But because you've got to charge this thing, it also comes with a micro USB to USB Type A adapter. Is it USB micro Type B? I can never remember which one it is. All I know is it's the standard one that you get on pretty much everything these days, and it's not very long, but you don't need it to be very long, to be honest. And strangely, whilst all the other cables and things like that all seem to be branded, this one seems extremely generic. I don't know why, but that's a thing. And lastly, say you don't want to use a microphone on this headset, you know, just saying, you know, you can always take this thing out like that, and then you've got these little covers here. You get two of them, little rubber silicone covers that go in that slot there to prevent leakage, and also just to make it a little bit neater, perhaps. And so they just slot in the side there. The only thing is, they're not very good, and they come out extremely easily, which is a real shame. It's a nice touch that they're there, but I can't help but feel that maybe something went wrong in the design stage, because they really don't stay in. Not a big deal if you want to use the microphone though, and it has to be said, this isn't the only microphone this comes with. This actually also has a teeny tiny little microphone up here that is just designed to pick up your voice without having all the clarity of this thing. If you want that, if you don't want this sticking around your face, there's that option as well, if you want. But enough of what's in the box. What do these things sound like? After all, that is the most important thing when it comes to a pair of headphones, if I can get them adjusted at all to my head size. Well, to be honest with you, they sound absolutely fan-dabby-dozy. They sound excellent. I do feel that sometimes there's maybe a little bit too much hiss if you have them on, because that's in the powered mode that I alluded to earlier. There are various different modes you can use. They sound wonderful. There's maybe a little bit of hiss in the background, but I'm not a massive audiophile, so it may be that I'm listening to, you know, it might be the microphone background noise or something. I don't know, but all I know is that on the whole, they sound wonderful. But speaking of sounding wonderful, what about all the different modes that I've been talking about, the powered modes? Well, as you can see here, you've got the power button, and by pressing that, nothing happens. But if you tap and hold it, it turns on, and at the moment it's purple, which is not what we want. It's on purple at the moment. We need to tap and hold and keep holding until it changes. Blue, that's PS4 mode. Red, that's Switch mode. Purple is Xbox One mode for some reason, so we want to wait until it goes all the way back around to red like that. I hope you could see that. Now, this is where we start to get into the issues with the system. Now, the powered, you know, sort of mode, as it were, that allows you to listen to things, you don't have to have it on the powered mode. If you just have them off, it'll be in passive mode, and they still sound really good, but it does sound better when they're in powered mode. It's important to say that. But the only problem is that that's a bit of a faff to get to, And that's a bit of a theme with these headphones. They are a bit of a faff. They look, well, to be honest, I mean, I like the look of them, but I really wish I had the black copy and not the white version with this sort of champagne effect. It's not really my cup of tea. But the black version looks a lot better. I'll put a picture of it there. I like it. Now, this is probably going to sound really sort of boardroom rubbish and things like that, but these headphones are not very user-friendly, to say the least. Once you know what you're doing, it's not so bad. But even so, you know, just sort of picking these up for the first time, it was not a straightforward thing. I'll tell you that for free. Because, for example, the volume control is on this side. You twist this bit around, or is it on this side? It's on this side. You see, you know, it's on this side with all the controls, and you twist that around, and that is how you control the audio. The only way you can tell how loud it is to actually have them on and listen to them, which is fairly standard for headphones, but shut up. You can also mute any audio coming through by clicking. Can you hear that? Clicking the side of the headphone in, which again is a very neat way of doing it, but again, not very straightforward. And if you just, you know, picked up these headphones and you didn't look at the instructions, which, let's be honest, nobody really does these days, you wouldn't really know what you were doing. And you can also mute the microphone by clicking that side. In fact, that just turned it on. You see that lovely blue light? That means, or that might mean that it's off. I can't remember. This is the problem with these headphones. But the biggest caveat I have with these is turning them off. Now, that might sound like a really simple thing. You just sort of think, well, you just, you know, sort of maybe press and hold the power button. No, because as you saw earlier, when we pressed and held the power button, it cycled through, and you don't have to cycle through all of them and then it turns off, because that would be annoying. But what is even more annoying is I've got the quick start guide right here, and this does not tell you how to turn the headphones off, and these are powered. You don't want to be draining the battery constantly, and yet it doesn't tell you how to power them off. It's such a basic thing, but I had to look online, and eventually I found out how to do it. You have to press and hold the power button for about 3 seconds and then release, and they turn off. It's, I don't know, it just seems like such an obvious, you know, one extra button, even if it was on the other side, just, you know, maybe even a little switch on and off, that's all it would have taken, and then have a dedicated button for cycling through the things. That would be so much simpler and so much more straightforward, at least in my mind, certainly from a design perspective. Mechanically, I don't know whether that would work. But all in all, if you're not fussed about having white headphones, which, to be honest, when I'm in my own home, I'm really not. I would prefer the black ones, as I said before. These are a really lovely pair of headphones. I believe they retail at $99, which is about £75, give or take. In fact, I think it's something even more depressing at the time of recording, but I'll have links in the description below if you want to pick up a pair yourself. Because yeah, I've been using these pretty much exclusively with the Switch. In fact, I did dabble with things like I had to listen to my phone, you know, some music and stuff like that, and they do sound absolutely wonderful. They're not terribly compact or anything like that, but they do swivel around, and that's a thing DJs do, I think, isn't it? They sort of, you know, sort of and they use that as an eye patch, so they can be a pirate at pirate-themed events, and they only have to buy the headphones. I'm going down a very weird route right now. You are going to have to take some time getting to learn these things, but you know, if you know what you're doing, which you will be fairly quickly, it's still not ideal, to be honest with you, then yeah, these headphones are really lovely. I'd say for the price, they're some of the best headphones I've ever heard. But again, I'm not an audiophile, so don't take that as gospel or anything like that. But all I know is, as a casual consumer, I've been using these to play the Switch, and they are lovely. And, you know, if this microphone could come in handy for the Switch, that would also be great. Massive thanks to LucidSound for sending these bad boys over, and thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, then why don't you plug a pair of headphones into that subscribe button, and be sure to check out NintendoLife.com for all sorts of lovely Nintendo-related content. Thank you again for watching. Bye-bye.
Oh.
You're listening to Danny Baker in the AM. Coming up next, a short radio drama all about pastry.